Some of them want steal am. You know that the money they suffer. Abu go pra. He left you alone and alpha. You know get the car, you know get shingava. What's the answer? I beg you show me now, make a prosper. Say make a 10 to dancer or bouncer. Say make a follow the driver conductor. But now I get the money, I get the more problem. Many call me. What's the make a come show them? You get the money, you multiply progress. Many money. One man killer, have a busy body, oh, everybody want killer. One man killer, they want to carry go, some of them want killer. One man killer, have a busy body, oh, everybody want killer. One man killer, they want to carry go, some of them want killer. After the money come, enemy come, only a girl them come, them put on silicon, once see me done, see me run out of income, but why never feel like that? Me no need just to go feed myself on the bitch. Not here they pull my nerve, and all type of dirty bad mind get served. And mama say, yeah, pray now, oh, pray now, go, pray now, I get the money.
Don't get bored alone, when there are existing channels that can keep you company anywhere, anytime. Vital GH Media is a mother company of all Vital GH channels. We have multiple platforms for free television. You can watch video on demand, rent or buy, or probably subscribe easily for more updates. Visit our channels on Vimeo, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Roku TV, and many more, anywhere, everywhere, any day, anytime on your mobile phone, TV channels, Apple Store and Play Store. Don't be left out with existing movies and programs on our various channels. You can visit us on www.vitalghradio1.com.
Okay, to be to me, in fact, your mom was some, Ubia, Opesa, we join it, program no. Ubit me on mute to Mike, no. Na, what join on? Said, yeah, almost who say, more, I'm a home, Mr. Eben, and KG, and Timo, you know, Momo, dear, some be on mute to Mike, no, na, mon join it program no. And Chibia. Weba and teaming commercials because he said Weba and Sana are starting. So Weba and you know, lawyer waiting to start it. Yeah, try. And voice name back.
Open let me say commercials. Have we finished with the commercials?
Yes. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Maybe that.
Okay. Open just before we go now, we have a guest. We have a guest who I'm interviewing today. I just want to make sure that he's on. So just a few minutes for me to make sure that my guest today is on the program.
Okay. Any make a commercial. Say I'm not in a casa.
Pacho, for 1 minute. Why?
Don't get bored alone, when there are existing channels that can keep you company anywhere, anytime. Vital GH Media is a mother company of all Vital GH channels. We have multiple platforms for free television. You can watch video on demand, rent or buy, or probably subscribe easily for more updates. Visit our channels on Vimeo, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Roku TV, and many more, anywhere, everywhere, any day, anytime on your mobile phone, TV channels, Apple Store and Play Store. Don't be left out with existing movies and programs on our various channels. You can visit us on www.vitalghradio1.com.
Okay. Two people, KG and then Mr.
Okay. Okay. Open, so you can put him on so that he comes into the view.
I said on mute to the mic. I said on no one can send me on mute to the mic. No enable the camera. No.
Okay.
So Mr. Doku, what here? Wait me. Enable your mic. I'm say on T.
Mr. Doku, please.
I'm trying to put on the mic, but
would you unmute it? Just click on it to say unmute.
I tried.
Oh.
I tried, but it tells me that having trouble connecting. This is often caused by an unstable internet connection. Your brother has blocked your mic camera. Edit your brother settings to allow. What is this?
Turn
I'll do it from here.
No, turn off the whatever that you are doing, turn it off and turn it back on again. Turn it off completely.
I should turn off and turn on again.
Yes, turn it off. And like you are starting it all over. You go to okay. And then you click on the website.
I'm using this, so then
click the link, the link.
Okay, so I've clicked. So this is the same phone I'm using for the.
We have Mr. Kwabra Abuaji. All right, let's see. Is this the man?
I'm trying again.
I thought you were going to use your computer, so you try and see if you can do it.
I'm still not even getting home. I'm on my way.
Okay. So try and see. Okay, right. Okay. Thank you very much, Openyi Kwame Saka, for putting it together again and giving us another opportunity to have a program that we have dubbed Land Issues in Ghana, Nsase Ho Nsem. So I want to welcome both listeners and those joining on Zoom to today's edition of LinkedIn, dubbed Land Issues in Ghana, Nsase Ho Nsem. Well, I hope we all had a good working week, and the weekend is being restful. So welcome to you all once again, those listening and those zooming in. Last week, we discussed at length the process involved in the registration, which leads to the issuance of a land certificate. Say me mamu nyina akwa aba omo mutie ne omo re mi nyina ende na me mamu nyina akwa aba de my program ya boni ya to din no land issues in Ghana na twimo ne be kan say Nsase Ho Nsem enti na program no is primarily ne say all things that relate to land issues be BFA asase ho fiti say obe akoto asase no aye ho documents aye registration akoje permits akohu architect akohu lawyer esi wodan ye pese a program research say nkakra ye be man crofo mo wenu na ho nimdie na ba program no so na oma chechre enti na enye de bia na ebe say me nkwa na me present program no from a legal point of view, but we'll have all the stakeholders ebepa ohene family head, an architect, electrical engineer, people working in the public sector, and it will become an all-involving discussion. We'll be able to have inputs from the stakeholders. And Mijidi say, you better also tuning in and then also listen in, and those also on Zoom. And then we also encourage you say, more contribute na any interesting. If you have a question, and I say, bibi edi wa bobo, I mean, obi the one anti kwan bi so na ka enye sa na say mo kan wasem na yes obi asem ebi obi so yes safo ebi obi de any. So I hope I'm saying the tree well. Nti obi there na yesu afa futuo wom, the maybe the pitfalls that the person went into, the issues that came up, no, na be lessons for all of us. Nti mommy na as interactive as we can. We should try and make it as interactive as it can. And I hope today I'll be having people joining me and asking questions and also contributing what we are going to do today. Today we are going to have a discussion with somebody, a member of the Lands Commission, and who is the representative of the Adenta Municipal Assembly. And I think we all know the important role that the municipal assemblies play in land, the physical aspect of it. Registration is done by the land agencies, lands commission, and all that. But then we know that the municipal assemblies play a very, very important part. Honestly, they are like the presidents in charge of a municipality. And we just hope that he can zoom in. Everything concerning his network is okay, and we can be able to have the interview as we intended today. Mr. Doku, please, can you hear us? Mr. Doku, I'll just take a minute to confirm whether he's on. I think he said he had a problem with his network.
It's not connected. He's
still not connected.
Yeah.
Mr. Doku, I'm still getting you on phone. Please, are you connected?
I got connected. I still know, the settings, and the mic on. I don't know what is happening.
Oh, well, I don't know. There may be. I will ask you the questions. Unfortunately, it would have been very good if we could have had you on Zoom. But I'll ask you the questions, and then the answers you give me, I relay it to those listening and those watching us. I think that is the best we can do in the circumstances. At the moment, it's on loud. So let me see. Yes, it's on loud, and I don't know. Let me just ask my producer if we are able to there is a feedback. Openi, if you can please help us.
Now, the only thing that he can do now is to get a good place where now he can get the internet access, because where he's calling from, there is no access. That is why now we can't get him now.
Oh, okay.
It's not connected.
Okay, so Openya, I was suggesting that I will ask him the questions and relay it. And we thought that maybe when he speaks, we will hear him. But
yeah, I can hear him when he was talking. I was able to hear him, but the only thing is he is not connected to our service.
Oh, yes, he's not connected. Okay.
We
will see how.
Another KG who's also not connected, device not connected. Anybody who comes in, make sure you have your internet access. Most of the time, your cell phone doesn't work properly, except when you have the laptop or something else. You can go on and then.
I will just see if it's not possible this week to have him on, so that we could have had his face and his voice and all that. Mm-hmm. And then maybe we do it next week. I don't know whether that would be good for you, Mr. Doku.
Yeah, that's fine. If I'm not getting to, I'm a little disappointed. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Openi, please, can you hear Mr. Doku?
Mr. Yes, Doku? I can hear his voice.
You can hear his voice.
Yeah,
please, Mr. Our brother that is on Zoom.
Okay.
Please, can you hear?
I hear him do things, but outside. I hear him. Not outside.
Okay. Well, listeners and those watching us on Zoom, is sorry for the bit of hitch-up, but I really wanted a very interactive program today, so that we could have had a discussion with the representative of the Adenta Municipal Assembly at the Lands Commission, so that he will throw more light on what they do, issues that they also confront them, and then about building permits, which we all know sometimes is a challenge to us. We will try and see if I can relay the information he gives to us, but if we are not able to do that, then we'll suspend the interview or discussion for today and make it next week. So we will start and see how far we can go. So Mr. Doku, thank you very much for making time for us today, and welcome to Vital Ghana Radio, which comes to you from Middletown, Delaware.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Doku. So I know you are a member of the Lands Commission. Okay. Can you tell us a bit about the Greater Accra Regional Lands Commission that you're a member of?
Okay. The Greater Accra Regional.
We are getting feedback.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now, please. Yes, you are telling us about the Greater Accra Regional Lands Commission.
Yeah, so it's not the Greater Lands Commission. We are made up of members of various professional bodies. Now, each of the district assemblies in Greater Accra have a representative on it. We have one committee from the Ghana Bar Association. Of course, the person will be a lawyer. There were a nominee of the Ghana Institute of Surveyors. Because I did my survey, a very major part of it. The Surveyors Institute, you're one nominee. You're one nominee from the National Association of Farmers, or also count. You're the regional land auditor, not only land controlizing to the regional, I have a regional land commission, but you have a regional land officer. And of course, we have the chairman of the commission appointed by the Minister of Land or by the Executive. It is the composition of the regional land commission to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that is in accordance with the Constitution. But can you tell us a bit about what you do when you go for meetings?
Meetings are and people think about land to the commission. The new one, now that they already start. Yes, I said, as I thought already the time of the emphasis Canada, and after to get it to the other start. The people want to there are issues, litigation, so on, so it comes to us. That's why we have professional politics like lawyers and others on the board. Yes, that is all the issues. Me as identify record. It's my duty that if you have issues of any land within my area, it is my duty to put it up at the land. And so when we want to approve of land, if there are lands that fall within identify, it is my duty to make sure that as I identify my opinion, is it really the case that we can go through the process and not go through? If the issue was a particular area, land, so not one, in order to bring the information back to the this is an issue that was raised at the land commission, and these are what the issues that come up and give or that is all we should do to rectify the problem. And I represent the assembly. I make sure lands within my area are safe. We make sure that UBC, as we also get that crowd. I should know and inform that assembly.
Oh, okay. I'll be glad if listeners and those who are watching us on Zoom is able to tell me whether they can hear what Mr. Doku is saying. Can we get a bit of feedback to know if we are hearing Mr. Doku? Openi, please, can you hear Mr. Doku?
Are you referring to me?
Yes, I just want to find out if you're able to hear what the rep is saying, the one we are interviewing. Can you hear him?
I I can barely hear him because he's breaking a lot. I don't know. When you talk, I can hear you very well, but then when he talks, it goes on and off, and I can barely hear him. I think he's making some good points, some fundamental points here, but I can barely hear him.
Okay. Then I think we'll have to agree that it will be better if we're able to get him on a good connection. So we may have to interrupt the interview discussion with him and arrange for him to come on when all the connections are in place. I think that is the best we can do for now. So,
Yes.
Mr. Doku, I think we will arrange another time, God willing, next week, so that where you can be in a good setting and we can hear you, so that those listening and those watching can also be able to really appreciate what you are saying. It is faint, and so the interaction that we want is not coming up. So thank you very much, and God willing, we hope we'll have a good setup next week. Okay. Okay. Next week, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Duku. Okay, please, those listening and those watching us on Zoom, unfortunately, our guest hasn't got a very good connection, so we are not able to get the interactive session that we anticipated. A lot of the things that he's saying, we may not be hearing very well. So we have cut the interview, and then God willing, next week we'll be able to have him in a better setting so that we can appreciate what he's saying better. We'll go back and then have our discussions on land registration. Where we ended last week, we would continue from there. Where we ended last week, continue from there. And I think I said that anytime we come for our discussions, I'll repeat the cardinal things that relate to land acquisition. Every time we come for the discussions, I'll relate the cardinal things that relate to land acquisition. So here I go again. 1, identify the land that you want to acquire. Get your own surveyor. Don't depend on the person who is selling the land to you, surveyor. Because when you get your own surveyor, he's the one who is working in your interest. If there are any problems, he will let you know. So get your own land licensed surveyor to prepare a plan for you. And I explained that there are 2 main distinctions on plans now. If it is a title registration area, which is now the Greater Accra region, or the Greater Accra region now is a title registration area, you must get a barcoded plan. And last week, I think I showed you that at the back of it, at the back of the plan, you can see the barcodes, just as we see when we go and buy, we purchase items from Matsmart and Kohl's or Walmart. You see the barcode at the side, at the back. And it is because that one is a scientific, accurate plan. So that will have all the descriptions that that is needed for you to get the information or data that you require to enable you get records at the Lands Commission. After you acquire that plan, you are to conduct a search. And you conduct a search sometimes at 2 or 3 of the agencies of the Lands Commission. You conduct a search at the Public Invested Land Management Division. And I said that is where you have records of government acquisitions, judgments, and all the old records that are on the map starting from the 1960s. And then you would have to do a search at the Land Registration Division if the person selling the land to you says he has a certificate. So you take your plan there, or you go for the land certificate to verify. I'll go into a bit of detail about that later. So the cardinal points I said is as licensed surveyor, get the plan, conduct a search, and then the search report that you get, the information that is in it, interrogate it. If you think you need help, definitely contact a lawyer. And I have said that the money you pay to the lawyer cannot be compared with the issues that sometimes come up that take our investments away, that take our time away, and it's a frustrating process. Money wasted, land not available, and it is a headache for everybody. So those are the cardinal things that I said we should be able to look at. So after you have gotten the land certificate, what do? The law as we have it now on title registration also makes provision for what we call the provisional land certificate. Provisional land certificate. And the provisional land certificate comes about because it is realized that sometimes the registrar at the land office is able to see that, yes, I can see that the person that you bought the land from really may be the legal owner. But there may be records that we cannot close our eyes to. That there are other people who may have judgments over the same land. Or the situation is such that somebody is a court over the same land, but it is clear to the registrar that you need to be given something to hold until the judgment is pronounced on. So we give you a provisional land certificate, and per the law, the registrar is to satisfy himself that you have a sufficiently good title to the land. So instead of the registrar rejecting the application, you are to inform the applicant that, well, because of these reasons, we cannot give you a substantive land certificate. Do you agree that we give you the provisional? So a letter is sent to you, and then you would have to respond that, yes, I agree that you should give me the provisional. Or you agree that no, you write back that no, I don't want the provisional. I would want to wait. And then what the issues are. When the court finishes giving its judgment and I know my landlord will be the winner of the case, I will come back to you for the substantive certificate. So that is what the registrar does. And then it states the reason, the registrar states the reason why it intends to give you the provisional certificate. I must explain that the provisional certificate has more or less the same effect as a substantive certificate. It has the same effect. That means if you bought the land for 50 years, the provisional certificate will not say that it is not 50 years. So the covenants that are in your lease, the terms that are in your document that you brought to the office, it is the same thing that will be in the provisional certificate. So you are not shortchanged. Mechanic say we are more provisional certificate. Make sure say Mranama Quine say a bio why registrar need to be who say ampa asase no wakoto asase no no ton ma wo no owo nkrata wo ho nanso ebia obi so wo court edi asase no ho asem ana ho abobo nti yesa na Amranama Quine say ende yebema obibi ekura na wetimi akwaje o permit any sa na ema no enti aban na registrar na etro wo say me say maybe wo records ni mu a ma ho kwan say be ma substantive certificate no enti wo ma wo fo aso say ye ma provisional na wo tro de ma registrar na obehu sampa okay wo fo aso because na ye mrasem wo amfo aso na ye ma provisional na utimi bisa say na adenti na mama me provisional no me mpe enti be bisa na ye bisa na aka sampa wo provisional na and then ye the amount na ma provisional certificate na emrane say esese wo twen ba for 12 years and son our by I am a substantive land certificate, all things being equal, because a numuna send a limitation law no Limitation Act 12 years no obi am baby say bibia biom obi am beka say asase a woti su enye wo na sese wotina so ana bibisa then it means so npa kro bi obi en ho oba baby say wasem biom etimra no efo aso say den yen fa ma obetime nya substantive certificate no ebi so ho a na odipa kro a onewo e court no ebia judgment na ba the judgment ne ba sa de ni adekro na esi ho kwan say yentimi ma substantive certificate no Yemuano, and I say, until you have a right to be given the substantive certificate. Until one I am a provisional certificate, we are Opeba back now because oh, not a same way and a hintiduano, but I hintiduan a year free ho, until me judgment near, and I say, my landlord, a winning case. Based on that, mama, me substantive certificate. Let me make sure I say, provisional certificate, no, they are also provisional, dear, but if you free terms our landlord ni ma ono saa na ya recite e provisional certificate no nti niema anka be substantive certificate no eno an e den land certificate no but make us say sometimes some of the banks need the ticket say senke bibie di mu a anka ya ma land certificate no some of the times the banks need be ho a omonje provisional certificate no I think because it's monetary issues no, they need to get all their due diligence in place and sana omayeden omama provisional omama substantive and omama loan no and the banks need be ho there omoma loan so provisional certificate but it is better to have the provisional certificate than for the registrar to tell you say intawantawa bi e wo asasini suntino yentimi enye den ma wo bibie mfe nkura say either provisional and substantive certificate no. Okay, and we'll take the discussions further. Say after you have got the land certificate, now what are some of the things that you can do about it? Now, make sure I say so. On your land certificate now, manager say if you to be a search was so. Now, much I said before, so say search now. It is quite different from plan search. Into your certificate search and your plan search. Into say what certificate and now the person who told us was certificate there. And who here so be crap plan and son wakwa search no our land registration division. Ne here ni say ubenya certificate number. Ubenya onipa ko certificate number. Unya certificate number na obekọ office no. Na wakoto forms say opese wo ye land title certificate search. Na enumu no yebema waso bibi efen affirmation form. Abakosem kakra wo affirmation form no ne say edu baby na etimu se nkrofo pi den de ewisem eba searches ni mu enti ebi wo ho a omokoye plan anase omutese asemesi wo certificate a omonya number na waba be search wo so enti otimu sampa asemesi ebia mse kwesi mensa edi na wo ho a otimi ko catch obi say ampa asasi asemesi dia na ono no simye de menton ma no nti edu baby ma police for ba mu office no ma police for ba mu be ye nhwehwem na ade na mo kan say fitis sam record no esisi enya bibi a kire say wa okra land certificate wona wa ma ho kwan say yembe bisa wasase no ho asem na mpa megiri say to asum because enye say obi etimi sorry keke no baby say obi ho land certificate ho asem sebe o Delaware na obeti no na obi gina enkran ebisa wo asase ho asem ebi yo unu ebi a obi a onim asase no ho asem no akwa search no de akotru obi say wo asase asemesi dia na o se yenye den yenton ma ebi wo kromo for this certificate signatures no obeti wo to ho yesi obi a den aton wasase no nti edu ba bia na it was compulsory so be den obe fill in affirmation form no nti sa affirmation form no eno na wo fo aso na e ka kire onipa ko na oton asase na ma no so ono e sha ase say me a land certificate number 24 eye media no mama ho kwan se enye nhwehwemu ewo me den certificate ni mu na eno no ordinary ID ka ho me ehu se ampa asemesi we no se enye den wama ho kwan se enye search no ewo ne document no so no nipa ko ba be search no so no ono so ne de ne ID ne ID ka ho nti omo de omo valid ID ne ka ho a na efe omo trace ka ewo so na den ya ye certificate na mam I think about last 2 weeks me bo kokko say no nkakra emra na eye adwuma wo Ghana nti bedu ba bia se wo ba Ghana na wo mbeye wo ID woni wo valid ID either a driving license your passport wo na won renew ye woni national identification authority for card ebedu ba bi ni niamani bi wo ho a emra besi wo ho kwan say wontimi nye ya ma land certificate kra wontimi enkwa ankoje wontimi nsumo obi nso say nye de onkoje mfama because a manager say wa asase ne eye wodia no esese wode ID ba a kire say wo asemesi na eden wo soma say meje land certificate enti mpempi no mietena manone na miatena ho acha ebi wo ho na wa your citizen enti na bia wato Ghana passport no o de ato baabi wan ba be renew a ebi wo ho a ebeka cho say we need some of those valid IDs and sign it me then aye adwuma bi wo ho and I say na make sure say ampa o land certificate o pese o ton wasase no ye be catch us say kofa valid ID bra and sign na then yetimi afo aso say o then o be register o be ton wasase na dia ma obi and I be je o documents no e wo land registry no omo ma ye adwuma wo so etimi fa mo cho bebre mo ba Ghana holidays mo be ye adwuma bi party na ade se na ye no adofo bi party obabi ye wed na mo modern say mo benya valid IDs, driving license, renew your passport, get a copy of the national identification card or a voter's ID card. Me pamocho eboa bebre because ebedru baby a wunkra oda no ho baby a den enye yie. Okay. And I make sure I say also say who land certificate so provision is made say ubetimi the plan why then search. Enti ampa obi catch us say or land certificate was assassin so e mrama ho kwan say na me can say license surveyor there then akwakoye plan no ultimately this plan no eba land registry no eba search it will reveal the same information say e bia assassin then kwasi emensa edia. Ena yetimi hu so say land certificate no a document esombu. Unfortunately, say na it happens with all documents. Ebi o wa then eyira. Ebi o wa obi bewia. Ebi o wa essay sebe o office na ebi a wo de bibi chi obi na ink guso a obroni be kan say is defaced. Ana say ejahihye bi aba na then ahye o documents no. And I say certificate na de any hobium. Mrama ho kwan say wo certificate na eyira waja wo trade mu obi abewia it is damaged nkraba bewi ink na de eguso anase eja anase nsuo essay na ema ho kwan say ema what is called in law substituted land certificates. Substituted land certificates. Na substituted land certificates no ehon hyehyɛ no eni bi nie eno na meba be ka akere mu enti se land certificate ira there is still a remedy in law. When your land certificate gets missing, there's a remedy in law that can give you a replacement or something that you can hold that is the same as the land certificate that got lost, and that is called the substituted land certificate. So what you do is that you go and you report to the police that, yes, thieves broke into my house today and the cabinet in which I keep my land certificates was broken into and thieves made away with my land certificate. You get a police report, or there was a fire outbreak, or I sat in a bus going to New York and I left my briefcase. You make the report and you take that report of the police, add it to what we call a statutory declaration. And I say statutory declaration is a statement now the account, now the about land office na what do ID once I mean what do ID account at the about say ampa or certificate no then ayira and I say inquiry and I say I say a defense ebia sebe we did to ho na obabi di in pen be fa so nti untimi fa enye adwuma bio you o the basana the office will go ahead now I publish it. You publish it say certificate we ayira say na make sure no certificate no ukra it is deemed that you have right over that document. Obi the amount say be a fakoye ejuma. In PNP, no, nkofo call what we call a gentlemanly agreement. They go into agreement to say, okay, me kwa koje facility be and I be a menya contract be highway contract be me kwa ko si dan me kwa koye road and I say me jinye me be aba. But me document me krano, it is not enough to support. It is not enough to support as a collateral. It me here obi na wafwame say somebody who will support me. So there's a gentlemanly agreement that you can go ask your friend, you enter into the contract, not or no then the land certificate now you attach it to yours to support your application at the bank or where you are trying to get some money from to be able to get your contract executed. And his pain pin will be land certificates, no to me the enema bebree. And a very new law no po and share bind their two horse and a bear resemble bed a beck of form. It's a pamucho amobe land certificates no esu a ye pa. And a publish it. A man say obe publish or newspaper must say, well land certificate no ayra and now say a before befa. Ye ria office no so land registration for no so ebe publish say so obi amba mbeka se na make an ebi o hwa na onipa kro na de akwakoji loan wo ba bi o ana se o de akɔhye bibi ase ana se waton asase ne po de ama onipa kro but ebi onipa kro ne be register no the certificate na mo onipa kro no na auto ananse sem bi say certificate na ira enti esan publish it se be onipa kro be ka say obi betimi aka say oh na papa e kan enye no kre the certificate na ira na my church said na me first na me adwuma land registration division ebi wo hwa yetimi besa wo hwa na obi free bank bia ba be ka church said ebi papa no no kan enye no kre na obeji loan wo your office ho na ni certificate no say iran enu nie enti aban publish e man ka say man 4 weeks 14 days after 14 days no obi amba me ka say ebi ampa what they are this loan and I say what time will be and there is no encumbrance about it now then the law says that the registrar can now give you a substituted land certificate. Now substituted land certificate no the word substituted no is written on the land certificate and to obia fape otimi hu say certificate it is not the original document but it's a substituted land certificate. But I must also explain that it is as good as the original. Intenene in Shishaya, Mrana, yes, and a bear will certificate here, or bear day, obetimi ako, Wakwakonya, a fofro. And ye be a nampa, ebiso, wokran na wuni, baby, I'll do certificate netoye. Now, after some time, we show near memoir, and if you who say, we certificate no, excuse me, we certificate any near. O certificate o makumu sana ehye me pass ana se sana me certificate na ewo asemesi ho enti eno no na ayede na ayese wahu certificate deda no emra emma ho kwan se o the certificate ne beba ma ya sen atwa substituted certificate mu da bi ye fa ne se obeka kire se substituted certificate no land certificate no ayira no substituted certificate no ejina na nan mu enti wo na o si ayira ne kra o the bar office no o the call land for officer no mo twem so what you'll be holding no will be the substituted land certificate not the original land certificate now we'll say ayira ifedi yeah excuse me I think I'm running down on my battery and I wish to inform Obia Mamutie and me say there's been a new land act. In the year last year, 2020, the government passed the new land act. The Land Act 2020, Act 1036. I think that is the act number. Now, Edishishe Bebre and Sakre Bebre about Nsase Mra Nsase mu. I'm just saying that there's a new land act and it has brought new provisions on land, and it will be good that we come to know them, or we familiarize with ourselves with some of these things. One important one, I said, first, no, we certificate, and I say, me certificate, but I don't necessarily need a new land certificate. All I just need is a certified true copy. Internet no de na ho asem ka de na nkanye de nkra edwan se obeba land office no na wato forms no ode wa ID account etwesika no ye be we certified true copy ma registrar na be tintim so no wa certified true copy na ma. But per the new land act 1034 no it says that you must go to courts. Honestly, when I saw that provision, I said, wow, you must go to court. Obey ex-party ni chese wonkwa so only obi na edi aseme or court. Enti wonkwa na akwa kan wa asema chere court na na mrami kan ex-party. Enti ko akodina judge na wenu aka say judge me pacho bebre emra ne say no se me land me certified true copy a ese se me begina wenim na me ka say bia me certificate na ayira anaasɛ mehu baabi ɛwɔ na mmom mekɔ akɔyɛ adwuma bi na mehia certified true copy na lawyer na akɔka w'asɛm ama wo na judge na ɛfoa so sɛ ampa yɛma land certified true copy no na wama order to that effect na wokura na wode aba lands office no. That is really a very strenuous thing to do now. I'm just explaining that by the new Land Act, if you want a certified true copy of a land certificate, you must go to court. You have to find a lawyer, pay me some money to go to court to say that you want a certified true copy. This provision is in law because it's onerous and odious. It's a worduma edosu. So na mention first na law nti sa I don't say waba o kan wasem a o de application ba ye for the man but say the obeko court etimi pamocho ehun hia pa se obi abebe ne land certificate so ye ehun hia pa wonya land certificate den so one kasa so call na efe ye what say colored printers aba obetimi a colored photocopy so na be ya woni obi din nkita ho say oh if you're negotiating with somebody, you don't need to take your original land certificate to them. You don't need to give the original land certificate out. No. So for all your negotiations, inquiries, or anything, then you can give the photocopy. You give the photocopy whilst you keep the original land certificate. It is only when you have sold all your interest in that land that you part with the land certificate. Intime pamucho, mama way and Thomas sum se ne bibi anywhere ato ebeto wasuma. Pacho me pesa obe huni say no uhia certified true copy this oko court and sana why den court afo so say yema certified true copy no na waba beji ewo court uhia court order and sana waba beji ewo lands fo no ho em say ya kasa kakra na se wutie program ya land issues in Ghana asase ho nsema now you think you have any question you want to ask, a contribution situation be a wukomu I think you can come up and then ask your question, give your contribution, or if there's something you don't understand about the discussion, say be open mu be open say demawa oba say ya me say ya kasa kakra nti obetimi ebisa webisa de no timi de den etodwa. And I am opening it up so that you can ask your question. You can ask your questions.
Can I ask a question?
Please, you can.
Okay. When I spoke at first, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Kwabna Boaji. You know me as David Aboaji. You were my classmate in school. And
oh my God! Oh my God!
Congratulations! I'm really baffled as the level that you have reached and been able to explain all this to us. I saw this communication this morning on the platform, and I said I have to make time to come and listen to whatever is being discussed here.
Thank you so much for making time. Thank you so much for making time.
And I must tell you that if others are listening, everybody is so proud of you that you're doing this program for all of us to listen. So some of us are very green in this thing here. You know, we don't know our left from our right. I'm calling from New York, by the way. So we have. I personally don't have a problem, but I just wanted to know the steps that you have outlined here right now. I don't even know if I have a certificate or a title or whatever it is. You know, I happen to have a land in Accra, but I have really learned something from what you said. But the question that I have is the new Land Act. Initially, you said 1036, and I also heard 1034. Yes, I don't know which.
It's 1034. 1034, yes.
1034, okay. Yes. My question is it public, and is there a site that the public can go and take a look, read about these? Yes. Because can you give me information about that I can go and search and read about it?
Okay. Well, I would also have to confirm whether it's been uploaded on the net. Right, but I think these things are now being done. being done. So you can Google the Land Act 2020 1034. It may come up. Otherwise, then it is yet to be done. It's yet to be uploaded onto the net. But the hard copies are available. The hard copies are available, and in Accra, where it is normally sold, is the Advent Press opposite Novotel Hotel. But I should think so. We are just going to give ourselves the assignment. I'll cross check and to find out if it's been uploaded. And I intend to have further discussions on the provisions that are in the Land Act. There are very, very interesting provisions that have come up in the Land Act. If I may just say one in passing, the new act now provides that if you have a land, if you have a property, and even the man's name is only what is on it, it is deemed that the property is for you and your wife. If you are legally married, it is for you and your wife, and you cannot dispose of that property without the written consent of your wife. Honestly, I was part of putting the law together. But when I saw that provision, I really found it very, very interesting. So I asked myself that what happens to those who are polygamous? Whose consent are you going to ask? What about those who are not in matrimonial marriages? And sometimes you can see people staying together and they have not contracted any whether customary marriage or the matrimonial marriage. So what happens to those kind of people? But what I'm trying to say that there are really new provisions in the law that are 21st century. It addresses situations in the 21st century, and I'll be going through them so that the ones that may be relevant to us as we are outside the country, I will let you know about them. So that is one of the provisions that I found very, very, excuse me, I found very, very interesting. So we'll both look so that I'll be able to find out whether indeed the Act 1034 is on the net, and that we can all mutually learn lessons from it. But Mr. Boaji, please, you were saying that you are not sure whether you have a land certificate or not. You have acquired land in Ghana, is that not it? You can please unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Yeah, sorry about that. I always try to be quiet around here. Yeah, so I purchased this land through somebody in the year 1999, I guess. Yeah, and I haven't actually pursued any paperwork on it. Really? So talking to you right now, I don't know whatever is on the little receipt that I have, what is on there, because I'm learning some good stuff over here about certificate and plan, and I don't know which one I have, but I'm going to research into that and see at which stage I am now and whether I need to go through all these things in the lands department to make things okay.
That means, Mr. Boaji, it's a long time you came. We don't have an office called Lands Department again. And I think at our very first maiden discussion, I went at length to explain an overview of the Lands Commission as it is now. So a bit of the historical antecedents that have led to the various divisions that we have now. So there is no office called the Lands Department now. It is the Lands Commission, which is the omnibus office in accordance with the Constitution, and it has 4 divisions. The Public and Vested Land Management Division, which is responsible for government lands and keeping public records. The Land Registration Division, where certificates are issued and registrations are done. And then it's also in charge of the deeds registration. And I have explained some of these things, but I said because they are important and they are recurrent, I'll keep explaining them. And then there is also the Survey and Mapping Division that is responsible for preparation of maps. And then there is the Land Valuation Division, where payments of stamp duty is made. So there's nothing like land department anymore. We now have 4 distinct divisions that have various functions that it undertakes. But Mr. Boaji, let me ask you, when you bought the land, didn't you sign any indentures?
Yeah, now that you mention it, indenture, I think what I have is indenture. And like I said, it was purchased through somebody. I wasn't in Ghana then. And this person provided me what is titled. It's just like a receipt, So at the level of indenture, which I didn't hear any mention of it during your narration, if somebody has an indenture, at which stage of the land acquisition title is like somebody like me, where am I at a position of indenture? Is that a plan or is that a certificate? Or, like I said, I'm very green about it. Just that I haven't paid attention to it. So this webinar is very important to me, and I'm actually gonna start making my documents from here.
Okay. I had the opportunity to exhibit some of these things at a previous discussion. I showed a copy of the land certificate, but because of you, I'll do that again next week. I showed the copies of the indentures and the plans, the various types of plans. So, but I'll do that for you next week. And I know that some people are also joining in. Some may be tuning in for the first time, or some may be viewing for the first time. So, like I said, some of this information is got to be recurrent. It's recurring, not recurrent, it's recurring. So I'll be sharing this information next week. I'll be sharing this information. But I'll have to ask, I know a lot of people may be in the situation that you are in. Have you built on the land?
Yes, I built something on it. It's not a complete
Okay.
house, but
That's fine.
it's
That's
being built.
good. And if I may ask, where did you get the building permit from to build? I'm just pulling your leg.
That's good. I'm interested in those questions because for all you know, I don't even know that there exists a building permit. Although I know it is over here in the United States, you need a building permit for even a house that you have bought. But I don't know how the system plays out in Ghana. I don't think I have a building permit, and whatever is on the land, according to the laws of the United States, that it can be demolished or whatever it is. Yes. And I think the same thing can apply in Ghana too. So I think it's a matter of me knowing what steps to take to get these things done. So, right.
Well, in Ghana, I think the first advice everybody gives after buying a land is that quickly put up something on the land. So once you have secured the land, it is in law we call it as 99% of possession. You are physically in possession, and it's important. And because of the conflicts that we get on lands in Ghana, so that becomes even more important than the documents a lot of times. So it is good that you are physically in possession of the land. You can always go ahead and then see to the rest of the documentation processes. So it is good. We will have further discussions about it, and then I'll go back and enumerate to you. We had a lengthy discussion earlier about the whole process about how to acquire land, what you have to look out for. But like I said, these things are things that we need to keep repeating for those who may be listening in for the first time or zooming in for the first time. And that is the cardinal thing that it involves about what land issues. I mean, that is basically what people are interested in, to really know what to do and what not to do when they are trying to acquire land. So we'll go back and have that discussion again. But once you have secured it, you are legal. You are really a landowner. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'll be talking to you again. Is there anybody? Is there somebody who would also want to ask a question or contribute in any way? Okay. If there is no question, I will just end the discussion today with a statement that if you have a land certificate, and I must explain that the whole intent about the land title registration law, which covers the Greater Accra region primarily and parts of Kumasi, the rest of the country is all under deeds registration, was to make transactions in land safe and easy and to give security of title. I wouldn't say that the law has been able to achieve all that, but one aspect that relates to having a land certificate is that if you want to transfer the whole land to someone, it is easy. That one I would say, because in a lot of times you don't even need to have an indenture prepared. All you do is to buy forms, fill it out, the parties sign, and it is as good a document as an indenture that would have been prepared by a lawyer. With that one, you then go and then pay the stamp duty that is required. You give the original land certificate to the person that you are transferring the land to. He attaches it to the forms that have been signed by both of you, the transferor and the transferee, and he lodges it. And then, all things being equal, if the file is found early, and I'm using a clause, if. So sometimes that is what is the hindrance. If the file relating to the transaction can't be found, then it becomes a go and come, go and come. But if the file is found or is available immediately, within a very, very short time, within 2 weeks, within a month, you'll be able to get your land certificates over the property that you bought. So that is one of the main advantages about having a land certificate. It makes transactions in land very easy. And also, if you have the land certificate and you go for a loan, the law enjoins you that the bank is supposed to come and note the collateral on the land register. So when you take a land certificate and you open it up, there is a section that is called memorials. I think I showed it last week. The memorials. You will see all that relates to the land. It will indicate that the person has gone for a loan of this amount of money. And it is noticed then to anybody that you don't go and purchase a land like that because what? It is under a mortgage. It is under a mortgage. So when you take it, it gives you a brief history. If the person has also sold parts of the land, it will be indicated in the land certificate. So when you take the land certificate, it gives you an overview or a brief history about the land. It tells you the owner, it tells you the transaction details, when it was bought, and all that. It's all imprinted in the land certificate. So those are some of the advantages that are in the land certificate that are not in the deeds registration system. That is in the deeds registration system. The government intended to gradually have most parts of the country covered by land title registration, but it's really a cost-intensive process. Surveying alone is so much cost-intensive that with all the developmental issues that we have, the government was not able to have other parts of the country covered by title registration. The initial survey work has to be done and all that before the process of declaring an area as a registration district comes in. So as at now, it is still the Greater Accra region, which is a land registration area. And I think I know that a lot of us buy properties in Accra. So I've explained that if somebody says that I'm selling land to you and you haven't gotten a land certificate, then that means you haven't finished the registration process. You may have an indenture that you have put in your cabinet, like my classmate Mr. Buaji has, but once it's in the Greater Accra region, you are only deemed to have finished the registration process only when you have a land certificate. Only when you have a land certificate. So we will enjoin everybody that please, when you come down, make time to follow up on your documentation. And last week or last 2 weeks, I explained that because a lot of you work through proxy, and like our brother is saying, he bought the land through somebody. If you're not able to do your due diligence, you place a burden on those who are your proxies. And after some time, it becomes a burden because you'll come to the office and you'll be told that go and bring a recital. And last week I explained what was a recital is. Go and bring this document. It is not complete. A judgment is recited in your document. I need a copy of the document. The registrar will tell you that. So the person becomes frustrated that, one thing, you go here, the plan is not accurate. You have to do A, B, C, and D. And the person becomes frustrated and leaves the document somewhere for you. So it is important that you go through the due diligence so that when you buy the land, you know that it's almost encumbrance free, or whatever questions you needed to have asked, you have asked it. That means the person said, I got the land through somebody. you have to also have the documents covering that person's transaction. And I think I explained that, like when you buy a car, you need the license, the person's car documents. So is it that when somebody recites that I bought this land from Kwesi Mensah in 1990, it is what we call in law a root of title. We would ask you to go and bring it. Sometimes the signature is checked to find out whether indeed the same person who signed the land, the signature in the 1990 document that is being sold to you is the same person who's now signing the land in 2021 to you. There are all sorts of things that we check. We check whether the duration, maybe the original document is for 70 years. Maybe it is for 50 years. That's a lot of lands in Accra are going for 50 years. So if the land was bought in maybe 19, and the 50 years has passed, that means you have no more interest in the land. So although you may think you have bought a property, you have bought a land, in law, what we say is an interest. You don't have any interest. You may have to go for a renewal from the grantor of the land. So I think that is what I would have to say today. So I think we would end our discussion, unless there's somebody who wants to ask a question or bring in a contribution, then we'll make room for that. But otherwise, then our time has run up, and we may have to call it a day. And I hope we picked some lessons from today's discussion. And one important one that I said was that per the provisions of the Land Act 2020, Act 1034, if you want a certified true copy of your land certificate, you have to go to courts per an ex parte motion. Apply to the court for the court to give you what? An order to that effect before you can come for a certified true copy. So please try and take very good care of your land certificates. Like I said, immediately you get the land certificate, make photocopies so that if anybody is interested in your property or something, or you want to make initial transaction inquiry, go to the bank or something, for the initial transactions or inquiries or whatever you are doing, you can just attach the photocopies. You don't take your original document until you have duly completed the process of negotiation, or you have effectively gotten your money for the land, or if you are selling it, you have gotten your money. That means you finished everything. You have given the indenture, and then it says, now I have parted with all my interest in the land. I don't have a right again to keep the original land certificate. I give it to you, who is now the new landowner, because you have bought it off me. I think on that note, it is a very important provision that I would want you to take note of. We would end our discussion here, and God willing, next week we can have Mr. Ebenezer Doku, who is a representative of the Adentan Municipal Assembly at the Greater Accra Lands Commission. He will be able to have his connections through so that he can be able to answer some of the questions, and he'll be telling us about how to go about acquiring a building permit, some of the issues they get on the land, planning, and all those issues. So I'm looking forward to an interesting discussion with him next week, and I hope that you will make time to listen in or watch next week. So until I see you again next week, I say may the good Lord keep us all.
Somebody wanted to know, I don't know whether he wanted to ask a question or he's telling you something. He said, it's not possible to put a fence wall around a land before getting a permit.
The person is asking a question.
I don't know whether it's a question or he's telling you, because
a statement.
It's not possible to put a fence wall around a land before getting a permit. At least legally. I don't understand.
Legally. Okay. If the gentleman from the assembly were here, he would have told you that for any structure that you have put on a land, well, maybe a statement or a question. For any structure that you put on a land, you are supposed to have a permit. A fence wall requires a permit. But like we are all accepting, the laws are not as binding or biting. It's not as binding and as biting as it is where we are in Delaware, in New York, in London, in the European countries that we are in, or in the States, or wherever we are, it's not that biting and it's not that binding. So yes, those are the provisions of the law. But like we are all saying, the first statement everybody makes when you acquire land in the Greater Accra region is that quickly put up something, quickly put a fence wall around it. So the legal position is that you require a building permit even for a fence wall. But I'll be quick also to say that if you take 100 properties, I'm sure 98% of them do not have permits for the fence walls that they have built. And everybody is encouraged to build a fence wall because of the issues of our land guards and the double sales of land. So it may not be the right position in law, but that may be the prudent or expedient thing to do if you want to protect your land. In terms of question, Papa ni beside ni say fence wall so ba be wa Nsase ho a wo hia building permit na make sure say ya emra na wo ye chrome ya na wo paper so na ya enka na enhye enye kete so te say na ewo amanone bebia ye wo Delaware, New York, Atlanta, Texas, or wherever, and as a London. A holiday send a name sabi won ye she a won crap permits. Why won't sorry po kasa wo ye bibi extension? You won't do anything without going through the due process if you want your peace. But unfortunately, in Ghana, because of our issues, which is accepted and is appreciated, the first statement will be able to show and say, what was assassin the Bomodiana the first wall to secure it. To secure it. But in Remudia, you are supposed to have had a permit even before you build a fence wall, and then you go ahead and get an architect to prepare your building plans, drawings, and everything for a permit from the building from the district assembly. The district assembly. So I think that answers the question for the man that asked about the fence wall. So on that note, Open, if there are no more questions, I think I'll hand over the mic to you.
Another question, the building fence for something going to permit and total municipal assembly. The time now is up. Your time now some. And questions I'm saying for next week. Now,
okay.
Mr. Dukunumba, then you'll get the chance to explain more of this
processes that is involved. Okay, anyway. Before you go, I think I'll just want to inform those listeners and those viewing that in Delaware, my number is 302-373-4838. 302-373-4838. But on WhatsApp, and by WhatsApp, you can get me on the line anywhere I am or wherever I may be. That number is 0264-257-030. On WhatsApp, 0264-257-030. Next week, I will tell you what I'm also doing about real estate, so that if people have properties they would want to acquire, or you also want to dispose of your property, this can be the arena where we can have those exchanges. So on that note, Opinion, thank you so much for today's production. Thank you, Mr. Abuaji, for coming on. And I know we'll be talking further. Thank you, all the listeners, and thank you, all those who are on Zoom. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Abuaji, thank you very much. And next time, your backlight, if you can turn off, there's a light off behind you. Yeah, you can turn the light off, because
when it's off, it's better, right?
Yes. Everybody who are watching and YouTube, questions really came from YouTube, and most of them are from YouTube. And the time is up now. And I feel those people who were on it, but they didn't get the chance, next week, prepare your questions. Now, when you come on that, the first thing they say, Opa, unmute your mic, said you who said was, because all it's saying is device not connected. That means, I don't know, say you are able to hear us or not. So they say because if you are not connected, it means say you are not listening to the program. If you are listening through the radio there, I'm not sure. But when you come on, please just unmute your mic, So now Uber, then you mute it. Say you are live on the on the channel. In the better not next week, next week for Papa Nedi Mame, na me flyer na I'll put his name and his credentials on. Say this particular person is coming on Saturday. In the next, a better Mr. Boye, I think say next week, there you also join us for more.
Definitely. I need a lot of information. I'm going to call Joyce behind the scenes, and I'm very happy to see you. You look the same, Joyce.
This is off air conversation.
Right, off air, on air. Because I haven't seen you in almost 30 to 40 years, so I'm entitled to make those comments.
Oh my God!
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, all listeners and viewers. See you again next week.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.